Hey y'all, let's make some cheesy salmon and broccoli pasta. This meal is great for meal prep and my daughter loves to take this for her lunch. First, you're gonna start with some Boursin cheese. My store was out of the block, so I had to get the crumbles, but normally I use the block for this. You're gonna put that cheese right down in the middle of your dish, just like this. Then you're gonna place your salmon around the cheese. I usually do 3 or 4 pieces of salmon, depending on how many I have. Once you have all the salmon placed down, then you're gonna add in your broccoli. Once you have all your broccoli down, then you're gonna sprinkle over either some avocado oil or some olive oil. Either one will work. And then I go in with another container or another block of that Boursin cheese. Since I have the crumbles, I'm just going to sprinkle it all around, but normally I would have the block, so I would have to break that up and spread it all around. Now you're going to put this in the oven at 400 for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on how tender you want your broccoli. And I went ahead and put my noodles on, and this is the noodles that I'm using. Once your pasta is done and your salmon is done cooking, it should look something like this. Now at this point, you can just add your heavy whipping cream and mix this all up if that's what you like. However, that's not how I'm going to do mine. I'm going to separate out my salmon so that I can keep them in whole pieces, just like this. I'm going to make sure to scrape everything off of them. There they are, separated out on a pan. Then I'm going to add in some heavy whipping cream to what's left in my pan. I would do 3/4 of a cup to a cup of heavy whipping cream. Then give that a good stir. Then I put my noodles down, my sauce over my noodles, and my salmon on top. Just look how delicious that looks. Now, this meal also makes a great meal prep, and what I do is I just pour some heavy whipping cream into the bowl each day when my daughter takes it to school. That way, when you cook it up, it comes back out creamy.